Hey everybody, welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips. This is me, Ann, your host, along with Disembodied Hands Quinty, Disembodied Beard John. Wait! Kiki? And Princess Kiki! Oh, but she's bitey today. We almost had a princess up here. We almost did. You decided you didn't want to come up and see the crowd? You don't want to come up and see the crowd, Geeks? You don't want to? Oh, there we go. Yay! Here we go. There. Now your paws are on my hands. Yep. This is what she likes to do. All right. There we go. The giant. As you can see, she's very bitey today. Nibbling the Fitbit is right out. No. All right, Dingo. I'm going to... Exiled. Good girl. The dingo is dingo today, guys. It's real. The dingo is real. Oh my gosh. It's like she knows we're leaving in 3 days and she just wants to, like, be crazy and remind us why we're escaping from her for a week. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Oh, she's something else. She is something else this week. She must know. Oh, Lordy sakes alive. Seriously, yes, and yes, I just said Lordy sakes alive. I can also throw in a dearie me and a lack a day, if you'd like. All right. Yes, the paws on hands thing, but yeah. Yeah, she likes to rest her paws here because it's more solid. My knee is slippery. My jeans are slippery, so she likes to she tends to slip off of them, so she doesn't trust it. All right, I need a nice dark red to shade this with, and I usually want Asmodeus, but I think I'm going to go with Dragon Red. We're going to shade our red today, and yes, it looks so bright on the monitor. I hope it doesn't look this terrible bright for you guys, but if it does, apologies, because my computer's gamma is turned way up, and I cannot figure out how to fix it. So... we're just going to go with it until once we tamp down this red a bit, it won't look quite as eye-screaming red. So we started, we started with like fire red over the zenith, I believe, but we're going to go in and double down on those shadows. I still want it to be a fairly bright red in the end because Ed liked bright reds, but I don't want it to be quite so crazy. So we're going to use some dragon red as a shadow. Let me mix that up right away. And yeah, we could just add some green to our red. Like for those of you, I feel like Paka's still hanging around. I know that Luca does some primary color mixing and stuff. But you should know that that's exactly what this is. Dragon red is created by adding phthalocyanine green pigment to a red base. Naphthol red base, I believe. I need to check the PDF to double check that, but I'm pretty sure Reaper uses a naphthol red for its base red. As far as the pigment goes. And if you are one of my patrons, then you have access to those pigment PDFs that I did. I did one on reds, I did one on browns, and I also have one with a little bit of information on blues that came before those. And essentially it covers the red and brown and blue pigments that are most common in miniatures paints and where you can find them and what their qualities are. Which helps you. Like, if you're the kind of person who, likes to see that pigment number or that color system number on the bottle, then this will help you kind of understand what that means, that kind of thing. My Patreon is patreon.com/paintingbig, and that would be at the $5 level, which is, I think my $10 level is my most popular level because it gets you everything from the previous tiers, but $5 level is it gets you the $2 fundamentals PDF and the color PDF every month. Oh, CNOT with the raid. Boom! Actually, I should probably use more chill music if I'm going to give CNOT an introductory musical, like crescendo, because, he has the best chill tunes ever. Hey, CNOT, I got cosplay. If you didn't just dump us and run, I got some cosplay. I got the gray because I like gray, and I noticed you're on the back. There he is. And you've got a credit here somewhere. But yeah. That's pretty cool. I thought I would let you know that. Hey, that's your hand. Oh lol. and your gnome or your dwarf, right? Anyway, I was tickled when I saw that you had that credit. It was cool. But yeah, I really like it. I sculpted, I haven't used it for a lot yet. I did use it for a base for, an underlying armature, which I like to use oven baked clay sometimes if I have to do a sculpt that's bulky and I don't want to use all green epoxy. So to get the shape of the griffin's head, the wedge shape and the beak shape, I use the cos clay. Baked that, and then I applied a skin of green over it. So I wanted this stone griffin head to be coming out of the side of the mountain so that I could use a little brazier, a little burning fire on top of it. But yeah, it worked great. I like that it's not as stinky as like Sculpey and other oven baked clays that I've used. So I look forward to practicing with it a little more. Yeah. Yeah, so thanks, because I totally got the cosplay referral from your stream, so thank you. But yeah, I don't do a lot of big display bases anymore, but I'm tempted to do a few more on the stream just because, it is something cool that you can do with these figures. It lets you sculpt a little bit more. I think sculpting terrain is a good way to get into sculpting and get more comfortable with it. I've always found that's how I kind of develop my stuff. That and, I'm dropping things. That and doing conversions. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. Yeah, I always am tempted to get more into sculpting, and then I'm like, but I put so much effort into learning to paint. And I know how long, it takes work. It takes work to get good. But that's all right. I've still got, I've still got a fair number of years left, so, I can fit all of the things I want to do. I'm going to have to start hurrying. I'm going to have to start learning stuff super fast to fit everything I want to do in my life in, right? Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, I'm glad I got to talk to you briefly about that, because, I've been meaning to thank you for that. Yeah, I look forward to trying more stuff with it. I'll have to come up with a cool big base idea for some of my upcoming pieces. I'm going to be painting a lot of 28, so... I used to do big bases a lot when I sold on eBay, because doing a big display base actually, got you more money. Got you more attention. But yeah, so cool. Thanks for the raid. Nice to chat with you. I don't want to interrupt you and hold you on. I'm sure you probably ended your raid and you're looking forward to food or walking your dog or something fun like that, right? Yeah, time to scope a full castle scene. That's thinking big. that is really thinking big. I've only seen one of those, and it was in George R. R. Martin's closet. He actually did have a full castle build out in his closet so he could pose his figures in it. And I don't know who he got to build it, but it's got all the different floors and balconies and crap. It's crazy. Pretty cool, though. Of course he does. Yes, of course. Oh, alrighty. I don't know that I'd go for a castle, though. Unless it was a dwarven castle, because I love to sculpt rocks. I'm weird that way, but I really love rocks. I should have, in another life, I'd be a geologist. So guys, we're going to take this dragon red, which I already established was a red pigment mixed with a green pigment. So essentially what that does, by using green to create this shadow color, we've retained a fair amount of saturation. So when you mix black into something like red, it tends to give it an ashy tone. It really dulls it down. So if you want a shadow that is more saturated, more vibrant, then use a complementary color to mix it. You're going to get better results. But if you want that ashy and grayed out tone, then that's when you do reach for the black or the black brown or the gray. But black pigment can really impact a color, like how pleasing it looks if you're looking to keep saturation. I always disliked, I started out as a very saturated painter, and then I went into the muted world when I started hanging out with Jennifer Haley, because she always painted very muted. And I really loved the way her models looked. And then I kind of bounded back the other way. I think, considering how long I've been working, I think any artist kind of oscillates, right, between different styles and different techniques. Like, we go to realism, and then we pop back into, like hyper-realism, and then we, pop back into a little bit, slightly more real, and then we, go some weird way when we go the other way, and yeah. So I was on a realism kick, and now I'm like going more toward like comic book style and punchy, just because it's kind of fun. It's fun to play. Well, just wear gloves, Kerniko. Like if you have the non-latex gloves. I know you said you wear gloves a lot, but I mean it is slightly different chemically, but it's still a you know a oven curing clay. So I imagine that chemically, it has a lot of things in common with the others. But I mean, you could try it, right? And the worst case scenario is you're right and you're allergic to it, and the best case scenario is hey, maybe whatever's in it, maybe it doesn't have the ingredient that sets you off. So I'm just painting in. You can see the shadow coming up. And you can also see that it's still very vibrant. Although it is a lot punchier on my monitor than it is in person. But yeah, that's all right. We're going bright for Ed. We're going bright. Yeah, Picasso in the blue face. Right, exactly. -40 artistry roll. There's got to be a compromise. Because I feel the same way about gloves, Kerniko. There's got to be a compromise for us. Like some sort of glove that isn't quite that bad. Maybe you could use a full glove to hold the model and like not use a glove on the hand that's like working with the sculpting tool or something. That might help. Because the sculpting tool is, you know, you're not actually touching the model with that hand, so maybe you could do that. Oh, maybe I should put a... See, I've been saying... I spent last night, when I got back from CrossFit, I just didn't want to... I actually didn't want to play computer games, even though the new Diablo patch hit yesterday. I sat down and I outlined the painting book. It's 4 sticky notes long, and I'm still thinking of things. I have the basic outline. It's definitely... Like, 250 pages was a good call, because I'm going to be able to fill that. I might need more. I'm going to try to keep myself fairly concise, though. I do tend to be wordy, and so I'm going to work on that. So essentially I'm blocking in some of the shadows back here with this color. We will go probably even darker. Spray on plaster. Oh my god. I think that's a little out of scale. So we will add more green to this, and we will, and I'll actually manually add some green to this when we come to our next shadow layer to really darken some stuff down. I do want to get pretty dramatic here. These really deep folds here didn't take the primer real great, but as I mentioned, it's not a big deal because you're never going to touch down there. It's so deeply sculpted. So you can just paint over it. You don't need to worry about repriming it. The primer really helps the paint stick, but that mostly applies to surfaces that are going to get impacted either by like foam in a carry case, or by your fingers when you're handling them, or by falling over on a gaming table. So deep in these folds, that's never going to get hit by any of those things, so you really don't have to worry about it. Oh, Kerniko, you missed it, huh? You missed it. That was my big announcement. That was my like... Okay, for those of you who are here from CNOT or PACAs, if any of you are still here... Like, I have had people asking me to do a painting book for over 20 years. And my previous reaction was always, because it's a huge project. Writing and painting examples and photographing it, laying it out, all the rest of it, huge project, completely overwhelming. But recently, I was looking at, and the thing that triggered this, Kerniko, was redoing my YouTube, re-triggering my YouTube, like figuring out that I actually am close to, like, with a push, I could get to monetization. And if I did that push, I would want to do a really organized, like, I really am enjoying the fundamentals videos I'm doing on my YouTube. So, fundamentals of miniature painting. So, if I essentially mapped out the book, that essentially gives me all my next fundamentals videos, like, already pre-organized in a nice format. And when I do the fundamentals videos and the stuff for YouTube, I outline each video meticulously. And I'm enjoying that process, but the great thing about it is it means that I have a ready-made outline to write a chapter about, right? Or write a PDF about it. I've been doing PDFs on those for my $2 tier, for my Patreon. So essentially, I can work on my YouTube and have all of my stuff for the coming year's Patreon completely outlined before I even do it, and do the book, like all at the same time. I can get all these 3 things for the price of 1.5. Well, that's what happens. Oh, I have to see what Green Users recommended. So essentially, and I love walking into my month already knowing what I'm going to be doing a video on, like where my efforts are going to be. Finger cuts. Oh yeah, I've heard about those. I have heard about those. Aren't they for like needlework? Don't needleworkers use them? I don't remember where the finger cuts originally came from. But anyway, so yes, Kroniko, when I figured out that if I outlined the book, I would essentially have my entire like Patreon and YouTube life also outlined. And if I outlined each YouTube video, I would essentially be outlining a chapter in the book. Like it's like, whoa, like it's the ultimate multitask. And I can't tell you how much, like, it really does de-stress me to head into a month already knowing what I'm going to be doing. Like, then I can put all my energy into just executing on that instead of fiddling around trying to figure out what am I doing, what approach am I taking, who is this video for, all these questions I ask myself before I do it, right? Oh, watchmakers use the fingertip thingy. Good. Hey, Lord Zypherius, 18 sub and a half anniversary. Congratulations and thank you. Thank you for the resub. Oh, for needlework. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Got it, Carrie Michael. Thanks. Oh, Carrie Michael, I also wanted to, talk to you. Do I have your contact info anywhere? Because with this book, we're going to be looking for painted examples. And I was thinking I wanted to stay, the miniatures that I'm using are, I think are all going to be either Reaper or Moonlight, because it's a 28mm book. And so I want to contact you about maybe using some of your stuff as examples. If you're open for that. But I don't know if I've got you on, like, if you prefer, like, Messenger, or you prefer email, or you prefer texting. But if you are open to talking about that, I would like to do so. Because otherwise, everything in the book's going to be me and David. Which is great and all. But I'd like some examples of other styles. Oh, clear purple? Yeah. Oh, good. Good, Asian Marble. Yeah, Arclud probably has a more magenta in it. But anyway, if you have a way to drop me a note, Carrie Michael. If you don't have a way to drop me your note, tell me in chat here, and I will give you my email. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, super. Yeah, okay. What do you like? Do you like Messenger? Do you like texting? Do you like email? Like, I can do any of the above. Messenger is my, like, least reliable, but I can make myself go there if I must. It's how I talk to Christine. So, but yeah, let's get together. Let's put our heads together. Let's network. Woo! Hey, Darksy. How's it going? Yeah, I'm doing some shading. Using Dragon Red, which I was just mentioning, is a traditional, like, artist shade red, which means it's red pigment with green pigment added to make the color. So it actually does the mixing of the complementary in for you. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. That'd be great. Discord works fantastic. Thank you. I'm looking forward to this whole big rigmarole project that's going to suck up at least 1 year of my life, maybe more. Yeah. It might take more than a year, guys. I'm going to warn you about the painting book. And hey, we've all waited over 20 years for it already, so. But just looking. Okay. My outline is insane. I did bring it with me to run it by you guys because I value your opinions. I'm still working on what order to put everything in. But and of course, can you predict this? My outline is entirely on sticky notes. You know you love it. Oh, good. Yay, Carrie Michael. Yay. Well, the thing is, Agent Marvel, about the book, is you guys who are on this stream all the time, or on my Patreon, or on my anybody who's on my YouTube, which is free, you'll all be able to like see this process unfolding as it goes. So that's the cool thing, especially patrons. I'll probably make extra posts about it to kind of give you a behind the scenes kind of stuff. So you'll be able to actually watch me construct this thing pretty much step by step and get excited about it. And I'm very open to suggestions. Like if you're like, oh, I really wish there was something on this topic, you know, and there wasn't, and there isn't so far or something, you can totally say, Anne, are you going to do this topic? But the goal of this book, since it's going to be it's pretty much I'm probably going to name it Fundamentals of Miniature Painting, after the YouTube. And the goal is to set you up to like enter the painting hobby or to expand on what you already know in the painting hobby with a minimum of frustration, which is really, really the way I rock, right? That's my, if I had a mission statement, that is my mission statement. I know. Oh, I know, right? I bought cheaper, thinner ones, and they weren't as nice, Gary Michael. You'd think there would not be quality distinctions in sticky notes, but there is. It's sad. It's sad and horrifying, and yet it gives me a justification for buying the good stuff. Oh, I hope you're not too broken, Cornico. Oh, no. Okay, so this is the dealio. David, my husband, was remarking upon this. I am full bore into the painting book right now, like full bore. And on the trip to Hawaii, on those 6-hour flights, guess what I'm going to be working on? But this is entirely like set up for execution. So, but your werewolf paladin romantic fantasy, I still have it. It's still in my ideas file. Don't worry. Maybe we'll write it for fun for Royal Road. I think that would be super fun. Just like a one shot. It would be terrifically fun to write. But I'm not giving up on the book because NaNoWriMo is in November, guys. So all of this big push that I'm doing with this is to essentially be able to outline my Patreon, YouTube painting book life for the next year and a half or however long it takes. Like every month, by the end of this month, I will have every month's subject. I will have some brainstorming on exactly what I want to do and the take on it. I'll have it laid out so that when I walk into a month, I'll be able to execute on my Patreon and the YouTube and the book, and I'll still have time for writing. So this kind of like strategic and planning thing, this strategic discipline thing is me. Like it's the way I groove. So the great thing about it is that I won't have to think about it after this. So much of the work of creativity is figuring out what you're going to do, right? You guys probably feel that with miniature painting. Like one of the biggest pain points is, well, what color am I going to use? Or who is this person? Or am I going to do metallics or an MM? Or should I do a lighting effect? Or maybe I want to prime this black. Or, like deciding your methodology for the figure actually takes up sometimes as much time as painting the dang thing. Certainly as much time as getting your colors laid out on the dang thing. You could have just been working on it, right? So you should be okay in about 4 days. Good, Kerniko. Good. But yeah, so by the end of this month, by the time we get back from Hawaii and I leave for the dog show, I should have this completely planned out, which is a huge weight off of me. And then when I walk into January, and probably actually I'll have all of it planned out for the rest of this year. But when I walk into January, I will be ready to go. And I won't have to put any of that extra time into thinking about what am I covering this month? How am I going to, what's my take on it? All of that will be done. And once that's done, then all of my creative energy goes back to the writing. Does that make sense? Resin poisoning, I'm not taking painting with me this time because I really want to focus on this stuff. And also, like, in the past, I did bring paints in a figure on David and I's last Hawaii expedition when we went to the Big Island last year. And I didn't use it. Like, I think I maybe painted a little bit one afternoon for an hour. So I decided that bringing paint along for me on this trip isn't worth it. Now, when I go to cons, that's an entirely different thing. Then I need to. But yeah, I do have a travel paint kit. I believe that I did a PDF on the Patreon for it, as far as like travel paint sets or abbreviated paint sets. After Rhonda did hers, people asked me to do one. But I pretty much bring one of these folding LED lights, my palette, a water cup. My brushes go into a caddy along with my tools. It's just a little Plano caddy, like for fishing lures. And I have it labeled for TSA. Since it's transparent, it's nice. So I have it, paintbrushes, modeling tools, small parts, please be careful, written on the outside of it. And then I just have a clear Ziploc bag that I put my paints in. And I pack my models in like trading card boxes, like Magic the Gathering. I have those little square boxes that they have for holding cards. I find those are great miniature transportation tools. You can also just use Tupperwares, which are clear, and pat it all around. Oh, yeah. Whoa, Rising Sun is so good. That board game has some nice models. Oh, that's cool that they're an adhesive research company. That's cool. I didn't know that, Pendrake. I don't necessarily always go for the 3M ones, but I do go for the pretty good quality paper ones. Oh, 20-hour flight. This is the light that I've used for years. It's the light that, once I got one, Ed bought it for ReaperCon. Like, bought tons of it for ReaperCon resin poisoning. It's Tautronics. It's an LED light. It's like L-shaped. The new ones actually are a little bit more modular as to how you can move them. It has 4 different colors of light and 5 intensity settings on each one. I love LED lights because they're not going to break in transit. They're lightweight. They're easy to break down and put back together. Tautronics is spelled T-A-O-tronics, like electronics, but Tautronics or Dowtronics, I guess. T-A-O-tronics. And if you type that into Amazon, they're very inexpensive, relatively speaking, and they last forever. It is about I think it's about a foot long. I don't have a full ruler here, but I have a 6-inch ruler. So the top part of it is a little bit longer, so it's about 14 inches. So it's a nice bar. It's actually like right here. It extends over my painting area. It's a nice fill light. And then it's also got, it folds, right? So it's got a base and a little stalk where the controls are. Then it's got another stalk, which you can actually angle. And then it's got its top light bar. So when you fold it, it's probably, yeah, if you fold it, it's probably going to be, plus the stalk, about 17 or 18 inches long, and then the base is unscrewable. I would say no. And it's not, you have to plug it in. It's not a battery-powered one. You would want a battery-powered one, probably, or an LED, or an, I don't know if they make USB-powered ones, resin. You'd probably want a battery-powered one for that. Oh, they have plugs. But yeah, I don't know. The base is, you'd be a bit tight. The base is about 7 inches by 7 inches. So it'll take up a lot of your room, but if you're able to scrunch, I imagine you could. And the base is slightly weighted, so it keeps it stable, and it's got a non-slip bottom, so it doesn't skid around a lot. I would think you might want something a little smaller for a plane, but that's just me. Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, looking at, I've done it, Pendrake. Essentially, what you want to do for your water, though, is you want to get, like a sippy cup. So a little kid's sippy cup with a little slot. Because then you can put your, you want the slot big enough that you can stick a brush in. That way, if your water tips over mid-flight because of turbulence, it doesn't spew everywhere. So yeah, get a little sippy cup or a small cup with a lid that's got a drinky hole that you can actually put your brush in and swoosh it around. But yeah, I have painted on a plane before. It wasn't ideal, and that's why I stopped. Also, sometimes these days it seems like it's not really, Pendrake. I never have a problem with, like, you don't want to maybe do eyeballs, but you can certainly base coat, shade, and highlight. Like, I would say the finest details you couldn't do, but You could certainly map out a figure. Especially if you're painting something like a bust or a monster. But yeah, I wouldn't do like tiny little stuff necessarily. All right, let's get some more shadows on here. I'm getting totally distracted by like the world today, you guys. You are all so shiny that you are distracting me immensely. But yeah, I mean, I've done it. It's cool. If you're just trying, and actually, considering that base coating is like the most boring thing, it's probably a good thing to get done on the plane. Mile High Mini Painting Club. Yeah, I mean, well, your paintbrush can't be used to really stab anybody. I mean, yeah, you could stab somebody with it, but no more so than a knitting needle, and they allow those. I mean, if you've got your water in a sippy cup and your paint is controlled, like even a wet palette or a wet palette's probably more ideal, with minimal water in it, so you can close it up with a lid afterwards, stuff it in a bag, and carry it off the plane. And definitely not a lot of paint on the palette, so it doesn't run like crazy. Yeah, if you've got no internet for a week, I can totally see it. They did on my flights. I actually double-checked. This is USA. Maybe not EU, Kerniko. But yeah, I checked because when I got into knitting, I was going on a flight and I wanted to bring my knitting. And so I checked and they said that knitting needles were okay, especially wooden ones. And I have wooden ones, so I don't have metal ones. I don't like metal ones. They're too slippery. All right, let's get a darker color mixed up. Let's show you guys how we can take some green. What do I have? I don't want an olive, really. Wilderness might work. I'm more looking for something like, yeah, pine green, something like that. Something that's more pure pigment. Hey, Slayer. But yeah, so we are back to writing the fantasy books after I take this complete digression to plan the rest of my year, which is never, like, it's never worked in the past, but I think it's going to work this time. Because this is a different sort of, like, focus. It gives me a real way to do things. Oh, actually, for those of you who are my patrons, I was thinking about this. So for the Patreon, since I'm going to be aligning my topics with the stuff I'm working on at the same time for the YouTube and the book, would you guys, do you care if I go like in order, like a logical order, or would you rather I mix it up a little bit so it's not boring? For example, like if my first like month is specifically faces, like my order that I've got for the book might be faces, eyes, skin, and hair. But that means 4 months of just faces, eyes, skin, and hair, for example. Would you rather that I actually mix that up a bit? So maybe we do faces, but then we do, axes. All that kind of thing. Oh yeah, this is our delayed honeymoon bow. So Dave and I had to put off our honeymoon when we got married last year because we had our baby puppy, Kiki. She is now old enough to abuse a dog sitter. So we have a house sitter who's coming, and we are going to Hawaii, which is one of David and I's favorite places. So I'm using pine green. It's a pretty pure green. It does have a little bit of black in it, but mostly it's green. It's a very saturated dark green. Thormil. Do you know the joke about James Joyce? One of James's writing friends walks into his cabin or his house one day, and James is like lying down on his kitchen table with his hands over his face. And the friend is like, James, are you okay? And James is like, no. And the friend is like, well, how's the writing going? And James is like, I wrote 7 words. And the friend is like, but for you, that's amazing, James. Amazing that you wrote 7 words. And James is like, but I don't know what order they go in. That's the James Joyce quote, or the James Joyce joke that I have. So mix it up. That's what kind of I was thinking, is that, I could maybe mix it up. I don't know though. It might just be that it's going to work better for me if I don't, right? So, well, you're going to get like a topic a month pretty much. You'll get for the $2 tier, it'll be the PDF on whatever I did for the YouTube that month. And then the $10 version is going to be probably one of the more advanced topics to do with that. So like if I'm doing very simple faces for the YouTube, then for the $10 tier, I'll be doing something like funkier, like the difference between male and female faces, stuff like that, right? How to do a 5 o'clock shadow on a male face, something like that. But yeah. This will depend somewhat on like how my working methodology is going to work the best. So really, I like my tiny sized wooden ones, but I have those I can't remember the brand, but they're like the round one, the ones with the cables, and they're all wooden and they're modular, so you can put any cable onto any size needle, any cable length. All right, so as I add the green to the red, let's actually talk about painting. You can see how it goes darker. But, and you can almost see that there is a little black in this pine green. Because you can see it kind of went a little ashy, right? It's not terrible, but it's definitely a little more dull. It's not as vibrant as this is. So that's what happens. And that's just pine green has a little black in it to take it a little bit darker. Because otherwise there's only so dark I could take a green without adding a lot of blue pigment, and that would shift it toward a teal, right? So black pigment is in pine green, and that's why you see that shift. If we were using a pure phthalocyanin green, we would see a lot more saturation still. But it's not bad to lose saturation as you go toward a shadow. Shadows are naturally desaturated, so. Yeah, I don't have nitpicks. I don't know, I'd have to look up the name. I'd have to go and like scamper over there and look up. It's one of the it's a pretty standard brand. It's a brand that I found when I was reading knitting Reddit or knitting social media, and people were like, "We really like these." And I've really liked them too. But yeah, if metal wasn't so slidey, maybe if I was a better knitter, I'd be able to control better. So I'm going to put this dark shadow in a more limited area to create that. Oh, for socks you're getting metal cables. I have not even to the level where I want to try socks. Okay, I want to try socks, but I'm not to the level where I'm up for trying socks. My focus has been completely shifted now. Critico. Yeah, that was me with paints when I was like younger. I'd be like, surely I do not have this neat Vallejo color yet. And then I like buy it and find out I already have it at home and I've had it for ages and I just stuffed it somewhere and never used it and totally forgot about it. So we've got that darker shadow. You can see it there creating that, the shape. We will take that darker shadow and put it up into these little creases. And the reason for that is that they're so deep and angled. So they would have a darker shadow. Yeah, so but yeah, I'm pretty confident I can still mix it up enough to make it interesting, even doing like one topic a month. And I may find I can try to switch it up, but I may find that it just works better for me to do it in what I think of as in order. But maybe it won't. I do get bored from time to time, so it is possible that I'll just end up mixing it up. Yeah, right. And that's the same as painting there, Hyper. Any creative endeavor has this kind of thing. So that's why I always tell people that just because you try something in mini painting and it doesn't work for you, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try it again 2 years later on. because there are things in painting that are like that, where you will try it and you will hate it, and it will honestly make you froth at the mouth, and you're like, why would anybody ever do this? And then there are, you know, later on, you're like, you try it again, and you're like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. I don't remember, you know, I don't know why I thought this was so bad. And then you try it again and you love it. And it's just, you know, as you develop in a given hobby and you get better at it and you understand it more, you sometimes are better able to execute with things, with materials or with tools or techniques that really confounded you when you were, you know, a newbie. I believe that, Graniko. Kidding, huh? Are kidding. I do love Reddit, and I have to limit my time on it because I love it too much. I did have a huge lull moment. Because the problem is that, like, I like it for information because it is easier to find a lot of the information in it. But I also love it for the pure trollish entertainment, like watching people come in who are just like ridiculous, and then having people give them the benefit of the doubt until it turns out that they really are ridiculous, and then having people call them on being ridiculous in the most entertaining way possible. It doesn't bring out my better side. But there was a brilliant one the other day that was so good that I screen captured it and sent it to David. Hello, Zambies. How's it going? Alrighty, let's make sure we've got this nice shadow, and then I want to get up here and put some shadows in as well. More shadows. So I'm going to shade all around here. And the other side is nicely shadowed already. And then we'll make sure we've got a shadow at the top. Ah, I'm kind of fuzzy. Why am I kind of still fuzzy? Fuzzy. I am pretty darn good today. In 3 days, I leave for Hawaii. So I'm like, they always say that like the anticipation of like a vacation is actually just as exciting to your brain as actually being on vacation. So I'm like there. I'm so there. I can't wait. That's funny, Graniko. The self-publishing one that I love is like, it's full of people giving out good information, but you do get the people who like just like tromp into it, and they're like, I've spent 20 years writing this novel and it's brilliant, it's better than anything out there, but I hate self-publishing and I hate traditional publishing, and I think you're all frauds for using all this stuff, and also all these people who are helping you do it, like the editors and the blah and the cover artists, this is just trash. But I need you to help me. I need you to help me solve all my problems. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. Anxious? I stopped being anxious. I've actually, the book that I've been reading has helped me a lot deal with my anxiety. Once I realized that my anxiety was like being manufactured by me so that I would have an excuse to eat tasty things because I'm a stress eater, it like totally diffused me. Like, I still give in if I'm not like, if I don't realize it. Like, if I'm totally distracted, I might eat a cookie without thinking about it. But in general, I'm much more aware of my anxiety now as being just the expression of like, my body is like using it to get what it wants. Some part of my lizard brain is like, hey, when we're anxious, we get treats. And sometimes it's just like the pleasure of being able to complain about how anxious I am, or, you know, the all that kind of thing. Like, a lot of it, okay, like, because some of it's just physiological, and when you're working at it with an unknown, you totally could get some anxiety. But a lot of it for me, it turns out, is just that I had been unconsciously actually giving myself a treat when I got anxious. So then my body's like, ooh, let's get more anxious. It was kind of ridiculous when I realized that. You're being described and you don't like it. No, yeah, growth is hard, Kodiak. But the real thing, the thing is that, yeah, this is my self-helpery coming in, but it honestly worked. But you have to figure out what you're doing, like why, right? Like you have to figure out what being anxious gives you, because there's something. You might think, no, this is terrible. I never want to feel anxious. No, that's your conscious mind. It doesn't want to feel anxious. But some evil part of you, deep down inside your lizard brain, is getting something out of this. And when I figured out that is my stress eating thing, when I figured out that I was giving myself a treat every time I got anxious, yeah, I started like being more conscious and unwiring that. So I'm not like stop being anxious, but I'll tell you, it helped, because now when I get anxious, I stop myself and I really look at it and I'm like, what's the worst thing that could happen? All right, how would I deal with that? Can I do anything about it? Okay. All right, we're good. And I move on. And it doesn't always dissipate all the anxiety, but it helps so much. Oh, it's night and day. Yeah, it'll be a really fun trip, Roger. Can't wait. Disney World and Food and Wine Festival, that's good too. Yeah. Yep. Well, and there is sugar addiction, and that's a whole other thing, right? Like sugar and carb addiction. It's real. So that's the problem. That's the problem with like modern day, like, human, right? Is like our bodies are like, we're in famine, or we're going to be in famine. You should eat all this sugar. And your body's like, yeah, sugar makes me feel good. And then your brain is like, but. And the rest of you is just like, nope, cookies, sugar, cake, ice cream. Yay. And sometimes it's just like, it'd be like that. And it takes a lot of work to overcome that stuff. And part of it is accepting that it is a thing in the first place. It's just like saying, all right, I'm going to stop fighting this. And just say, all right, I understand that you want this body. Now, what exactly are you getting at? So yeah, it sets us up to fail. I'm hoping that my work on my stress eating will pay off. I have managed to maintain and not gain weight for the last several months. Even when I was at ReaperCon, I didn't gain weight, which was a huge win. So, yeah, on top of that, yeah, food manufacturers, yeah, they put stuff in it, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's, okay, so this book is not for everybody. It's got some weird stuff in it, because the person who wrote it, although she has a PhD in psychology and other stuff, she also is, like, a Wiccan, and it comes through very strongly. But if you can, like, put aside the Wiccan-y stuff, if you're not comfortable with it. I actually was a Wiccan for a while, so I'm comfortable with it. But if you just look at what she's saying, it's valid. It can be scary, though. Like, understanding that I was undermining myself, that was not an easy realization. But the book is called Existential Kink. And if you really, really are interested in delving into your psyche and ready for some scary crap, go for it. If you aren't ready for some scary crap, then I would recommend You Are a Badass by, what's her name? Jen Sincero. It's the same kind of foundational thinking, but she doesn't go into the shadow as much. It's more like how to get on the positive side of yourself, how to get out of your own way. I read that one first. I love her books, actually. But I find that the other one is, it's the book I need right now to really get serious with myself. But yeah. Yeah, totally, Deborah. Oh, nice, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. Nice. Very cool, Dogfather. All right, so I just added in some clear red just to start bringing up highlights. I'm going to still work on my darker shadows here. So my current... And clear red is a funky color because you can see that it is clear. It is kind of like transparent. What I like to do with it is build it up in like a thick layer, like slowly work up to that. You don't need to do that. If you want something in between, you can absolutely make a mixture of clear red and dragon. I would do like maybe 4 drops of clear to 1 drop of dragon, and then put that on thicker than I'm using here. Yeah, fitness psychology is also any way you can come at your brain to learn how you tick is a good thing. And the great thing about fitness psychology is that it almost inevitably does come up against eating habits, right? So you can get a lot of perspective looking at a lot of different sources for that. I find that I do like to look at different sites because I find that some sites have different takes on things. And since I believe that everybody is different, I like different takes. But yeah, like there's a really reviewed fitness book out there that's essentially on like weightlifting and losing weight, getting fit, and but he definitely advocates a lot of carbs in your diet, and that doesn't work for me, so I had to go look elsewhere. Some of his stuff I totally believe is I'm taking some of it. I like his take on some stuff, but I can't do a lot of carbs. It is not, my body does not like it. Yep, yeah, Hyper Bunny. I almost, like, as far as chips and stuff go, I can't buy anything from a normal grocery store. Almost. I guess the Mary's Gone crackers are now in normal grocery stores. So some of the fitness, the healthy crackers have made their way into normal stores. But, like, the Mary's has, like, the lowest carbs and isn't packed with sugar. But yeah, you gotta watch the labels. Like, that was the first thing I learned in keto, right? I had to seriously look at the labels of everything. Yeah, because there's some scary, like, surprising ways they sneak sugar into your stuff, into your food. Because it makes it taste good, right? Yeah. Alright, so let's put this dark shadow underneath this cape. We want to darken that down. Alright, I think I want even darker. Let me grab my pine green and do mostly pine green. I might even go for, I wonder if I have a darker green. The problem is that, like, I don't think I have black green or anything like that. I could add black to it. I could add brown liner to it if I wanted to go darker. But that might be dark enough. Yeah, Hyper, I feel it. Are you leaving resin? Or are you talking to somebody else? That have a great day came out of context. So let us pop in. Back to work. Okay. Bye. Thanks for stopping in. Cool. That is cool. It's nice to meet you. I have to look at your name. Okelo? Yeah, we have models that are much closer to done. This one I've obviously just started out with, but one of the other ones, this is more example of what I typically paint to. I don't think they're keto friendly. I feel it. I'm considering going back on keto. I told David this after we get back from Hawaii. Just briefly. Either that or just dropping my carbs down real low. If I don't do keto. For me to go into keto, I have to be under 20 grams a day, and that's pretty harsh. Oh no, little Brazilian. Yeah, animals can absolutely get addicted to sugar. And it's not good for them. Like a lot of, especially cats, because aren't they like pure carnivores or close to it? One of my cats got diabetes, and I was like, oh noes. All right, so let us do a little bit of a subtle shadow here. SSC is channeling Orioles. The Orioles would totally steal your jelly. That's why they don't come to my yard. Or one came to my yard, looked around, saw there was no jelly, and left. Little bit there, little shadow there. I'm just going and tuning my shadows here, making sure I have darker shadows. I am going to try to mix this really dark green with just a tiny bit of the red here, and what we'll probably get is more of a brownish color. I'm tempted to use the green and see, just flat out. A little bit more, just dropping it down a little bit. I'm going to thin this down and try it. Oh, I see. He's on a diet. Got it. Yep. Yeah, his body is like, you're starving. Find food anywhere. Yep. He's like, you know, I'm just survivaling. Poor SSC. He's like, I'm still a small Scottish cat. Do I really need this diet? Jam and jelly are different things, aren't they? I thought they're still like different things even in the UK. Yeah. All right, so if we actually paint green into our shadows here, because this is still green, I mixed some of my red into it. And we put those, that's got to go in the deepest, darkest shadows. So the really narrow areas that really aren't going to let light, and also the areas that are kind of going inward. You can see how this whole area goes in. We can put that green in there. And if we thin our green down, then it won't really even read as green as we put it over the top of this red. So I'm going to thin it just a little bit more. It's it's like a heavy wash consistency right now. I could take it even more so. So I'm getting to the point where I can almost do a pull-up with the heaviest band to help me. My goal, if you didn't know, was in starting this CrossFit, I decided that I actually wanted to be able to do a pull-up. I've never been able to do them, even as a kid. I had lousy upper body as a kid because I was always just reading. So I can almost do a pull-up with the band. We had pull-ups in CrossFit last night. I ended up having to use the box instead as an assist. I'm hoping to get to the band eventually so that I'm actually doing a pull-up just with a lot of help. Oh, interesting. In this part of the world, jelly is like more clear and jam has more bits in it. And you put both on toast. This I'm annoyed with. Hello, Russian Blue Art. How are you? Nice to meet you. We are talking about, I don't know, we talk about random crap. We're talking about jelly versus jam and painting red. And I'm using some green, some actual green, to paint into my shadows on this red. I like the dramatic feel that I'm getting in here now, but I need more darkness in between these folds. Yeah, thanks, Roger. Which is why it's clear, right? It just uses the juice, mostly uses the juice. Makes sense. So painting the green down into these shadows. Anything narrow. You see how much darker that goes when I do. Look how dramatic we're looking now. See, I like this dramatic thing we got going on. Drama. So that's looking pretty good. Now I got to do that around the side here, though. So I've got some darker areas back here. So just adding in a lot of drama so you get the shape of like the leg as it comes out. Things you learn while watching paint dry. Yep, literally. All right, I've got a pretty good shadow under there, but I want it maybe a little bit darker. All right, I think that's pretty good. I'm just putting the green now over the darkest shadows. I think that's looking pretty okay. Because these areas are coming out, so I don't want them to totally disappear, but I do want a dramatic shadow to outline this area where the knee would be and stuff. Aluminium. I know, right? Ah, spellings. So for anniversary, because I am married to the man who can buy anything he wants, I don't know why I did that to myself, but it's the way it is. David always complains because when I make chocolate chip cookies, I always cook the whole batch, and he likes to have like fresh out of the oven cookies. So for our anniversary present this week, I started yesterday on our Monday on our actual anniversary. I made a batch of cookies, but I only made 2/3 of the batch, and I fridged the other 6 cookies. So essentially, he has been able to have fresh baked chocolate chip cookies for 3 days because I just fridged the dough and I let him bake his own last night. So he gets 3 days of fresh chocolate chip cookies because I saved him the dough. And this has made him like so happy. It's ridiculous. Obviously, you just need to put more jelly out, Kuroniko. You'd get more Oreos if you put jelly out. Seriously, when this giant yellow bird like landed in my little lace leaf maple tree and like wobbled around, I swear this bird looked around, saw there was no jelly, gave me a look of blatant disgust, and just left. I haven't seen it since. All right, so I'm putting some green in these folds to darken it down. I'm going to actually put some just in general. So you can see how I'm bringing the chest out a bit. There's still folds on the chest, but I don't want to use the green for them because they're not, they're open to the light. So we want to keep the folds on the chest a little bit. More for you, Neurotic. I disagree. We can all agree to disagree on cookies, though, because if you don't like my kind of cookie, that means you're not a predator of my kind of cookie, which means there are more for me. So I have no problem with cookie disagreement on this thread. On this show, sorry. Because I'm adverse to raisins in baked goods for the most part. I do like raisins in things like curries. But for some reason, I've just, ever since I was a kid, I have disliked raisins. So, I do like oatmeal cookies, but just not as much as chocolate chip. But yeah, it's funny. Lemon cookies, I'll agree with you, are really good. I do love lemon cookies. I cannot make them. I will eat them all. Brown butter chocolate chip cookie, chip, yep. Yeah. Oh no! The horrible squirrel. Was it doing that? The noise that they do? I always know when there's a pissed off squirrel around here because you can hear them. So you can see all the shadows coming in, guys, now. Making the cloth look a lot more dramatic. And for me, I feel like if you want a more vibrant red, this is the way to do it. Start it kind of the mid, go down, and then go up. And I've been able to tune this as I go, just kind of like going slow and looking at it. You don't have to like bust it out. You can take your time and kind of like assess as you go if you want to. Dried cherries are yummy. Yeah, agree, Butts, agree. It was the default snack. I hated them then too. Yeah, it's exactly the noise. I know. I hear it outside my windows so often. I have a squirrel around us that's just like existentially like woe is me. I swear it's the existential squirrel. Always do I hear that. All right, so these are really, really, in all the really deep folds, that's where we want to put our green. Though I'm trying right now to figure out if sparrows are a natural, like if they'll drive away the rats and mice. Because I've noticed that since the stripy head sparrows showed up, there are a lot fewer rodents. So I'm going to start bringing in that clear red again. Now, if I really want the red to pop, again, I will put a white underpainting under it and go over that. That will really make things come out. Uh-oh. Kiki's offended by something. What's up, bub? Now we can, the nice thing about this thinned red is that I can use it to highlight the shadow areas. I just only use one layer, and it's going to bring it up just a little bit, but it's going to stay dark. Unfortunately, I don't have a Camaro model. Van Drake. Do you need sparrows? I know finches do nothing for rodent control because the rats have had their way with the bird food on the ground when the finches are around. But for some reason, what is it? That was the actual I need something woof, so hold on. I'm going to open up the gate. That's not me. I'm trying to get Mama's attention for nothing. Woof. What's up, Bubba? What's up? Hi. You can come in. Yeah, you can come in. Uh-huh. Yeah? Do you want to teach the stream for a little bit? You want to teach the stream?
And this is how you eat paint. I will demonstrate with this red. And the paint water is really tasty too. Mama is giving me signs that I should not say this. No, it's not food grade, she says. It's just non-toxic. Oh, bummer. I was looking forward to eating some paint. Oh, all right, Mom. I'm bored now. Can I just get down? All right, I guess. I guess I can get down. Hi, Kiki. Hi, Kiki. Yeah. Okay, good girl. Can I come in here? Thanks. This is my job, you know. Work. I can pet you, though. Yeah, you sounded like you needed me, Bubba. Was it that you just wanted to come and check on the WALK time? You've still got 20 minutes. You've still got 20 minutes. Dad, you have a chew? You're a good girl. Yes, little dingo. I'll leave the door open now. Oh, your native sparrows are in trouble? Bummer. I think the stripy head one is a sparrow and not a finch. It's got a narrower beak. But I need to refill the feeder today. I've been lax. I should have done it last night, but CrossFit attacked, and then I started outlining painting book, and the next thing I knew, the birds weren't getting fed. The sad thing is that the rodents mean that the ground squirrel doesn't come back anymore. Which I loved seeing the ground squirrel. It was so cool. It looks like a squirrel, only so flat. It's so flat. But it's cute, and it has super awesome ticked colored fur. It must live like more in the backyard, but sadly the rats will take on a squirrel if the squirrel tries to come to the bird feeder. I'd rather feed the squirrel than the rats, to be honest, but... Hi, Keeks. You're a good girl. Can you wait? Can you wait another 15, 20 minutes? Yeah? Yeah, I do love you, but I'm not just here to entertain you. I'm here to entertain the people on this stream. Yeah, you have me the rest of the day. You have me the rest of the day, Missy. Yeah. Yeah, cats love paint water. They're like, chemicals. Oh, no, very fiddly. Yeah, that's what I would have had to do last night, and I just noped out of it. The birds can like take advantage of one of my neighbors for a day and a half. No, ma'am. Go settle, or you're exiled again. Go settle. She might have to. No, I don't agree. I don't think she has to. OUT. You can hold it for 15 minutes. Settle down. You never know with some dogs if they're just playing you. Or if they actually need, right? Kiki has cried wolf before, so that's the problem. If she keeps woofing at me, I might end the stream a little early and just take her. But I hate to do that when it could be just Kiki gaming the system. All right, so this is a really, really, really like thin and flimsy cloth. You can see it by like how fine the folds are. And because of that, texture on it is probably not happening, because normally when you see texture on cloth at this scale, you're dealing with a more coarse cloth, something that's stiffer, right? Anything that's this flimsy doesn't have a very visible weave, most likely. It's probably got a very fine weave. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I agree with you, Slayer, but I do like the cuter better. And the ground squirrel is adorable. Like, the ground squirrel is so adorable and has such cool colors in its fur. So I'm kind of sad. But I did see the rats act. Well, I saw a big rat take on a squirrel at my feeder, or underneath my feeder the other day. The squirrel was on the ground, sniffing around, and the rat just barreled out of the bush and knocked that squirrel head over, like, boom, 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 boom. And the squirrel was like, whoa, and then it ran off. And the rat was like, haha. I kind of wonder, like, how the rodent population around here has impacted our squirrel population. It has to have happened. Yeah, but that's exactly what I'm trying not to encourage. Is the
can I get away with game, right? Which is why my first reaction is to just ignore it. If they persist past a certain point, hold on, I have to check what she's got. Hey, what you got, Bubba? What you got? Good girl. Ball strap. Good girl. Something that's acceptable to chew. I just need to make sure it was acceptable. Full on melee assault, huh? Yeah, the squirrel just decided it wasn't worth it. I am tempted to put like a squirrel feeder out in the back because there's a little black squirrel that I like who's always in our yard looking for noms. All right, let's get some dark. I want to darken down this area and have the top of the arm be lighter. So we're going to take our dark red and we're going to paint over a lot of it. Yep. Yeah, that's the problem is like making the call on whether it's legit or not with the animal. They are smart. So I'm going to bring down this area and down this one over here by painting one of the shadow colors kind of thin over the whole thing, except for this little area that's coming out. The light would be there. There we go. All right, so I've got my darks blocked in pretty well now. I'm going to grab some white and do a little underpainting. And I will take this up with some orange, maybe yellow. We'll see how far we decide to take it up. We are doing kind of Technicolor eds, so taking it up a lot could be in our cards. That's funny, Thormel. That sounds adorable. Oh my gosh, that is a terrible squirrel, Kariniko. So I'm going to mix up. When I do underpainting with white, I don't do huge blocky white. I do a 2-to-1, paint to water. The white will still be more than strong enough. All right. Now I can take this thinned white. So normally I would do like, I would kind of pay attention to like if there was patterning in the cloth with this underpainting. Since I am working on such a flimsy cloth, I'm just pretty much going to make it go the way it's folding. So since the folds tend to be vertical, I'm going to make my brush stroke vertical for this underpainting. And I'm not trying to preserve texture so much as I am to like bring out where I want the light to be. Let's do that and let's put some white over it. I think you are. You're creating the like Franken squirrel. You'll have to go up to Ghost Pepper now. If it gets resistant to Ghost Pepper, then it truly is a monster. So putting it over the top of the white, make sure that I've got it over all the top of the white. You can see how much lighter that makes that red. So you can essentially use the same color and still get a lighter highlight by doing the underpainting. Especially with clear red, and most reds are going to be a little bit translucent, but it really shows up that way. You're a good girl, Kiki. Yeah, Keeks is like, Hey, when is it time? When is it time, Mom? When is it time? You have 10 minutes, Bub. You have 10 minutes. Are you going to come over here for scruffles every 5 minutes? Is that the thing? Is that the thing, little Kiki? Yeah? Such a tiny dog. Such a tiny dog. So I want to focus on areas now that I know I've got light on. And again, I don't necessarily, I kind of paint texture habitually, but I don't necessarily want a lot because I don't want it to show necessarily. That's not my goal with this. My goal is just to create some higher highlights. Wherever I want the punchy red. And this is why you go up with either like pink or orange on red, is that there is just a limit as to how high you can pull it with red pigment, even the brightest red pigment. Settle down, Keeks. You still have to be good for another 10 minutes. Needy dog is needy. Knit him a little villain outfit. Pepper X. Ugh. Like at some point, it's just capation, right? It's just like not even a pepper anymore. There's no meat. It's all just seeds and skin. So you can see where the highlights were and how but that has brought up those areas, those white, the underpainting. There we go. So just getting a little bit there at the foot as well. Oof. Yeah, and it's good to know that, like to know that your schedule isn't compatible for a dog. Kiki, what are you doing? Now she's getting in trouble. Papa, what you up to? She's like, trouble. Just a little bit of trouble over here. I'm just trying to like chew on these things I'm not supposed to chew or dumpster dive when I'm not supposed to go in the trash. That's what I like to do when I want Mom to stop what she's doing and take me out. Just hinting, Mom. Just a hint. Just a hint there. Is that what it is? It's just a hint, huh? Is it just a hint? Yeah. You have 5 whole minutes left. Can you handle it? Can you handle it, little dog? Can you? Can you handle it? I'm almost done, Bubba. Just want to get these like foot highlights on. Yeah, I just don't get the point of the hyper hot stuff. Yes, many of us are still driven by attention-seeking devices, even in adulthood. Our subconscious brains have not figured out that it doesn't work anymore. Thanks, brain. Thanks, primitive brain. Okay, doing just a little bit down here, a little bit over here. Oh my gosh. I'm not surprised with humans anymore. Yeah, Kiki is making sure that we are not. She's just like, I want to do my thing. Mama's got a lot of Patreon stuff to do today. I'm just helping her. Helping. So the last part we would do, although we may not have enough time, is the top of the arms with this white. Keekers, can you like settle for like 4 minutes? Like serious? Like seriously, dog?
No. No thanks.
I'm bored.
Please entertain me. This was part of our contract. You said you would entertain me. Otherwise, I would never have come home with you.
Right, Keekers? That was the contract? Was that what that said? It's testing you, Graniko. It's testing you. It's like, are these edible? No. All right. Well done. All right. And we'll just do a little bit more. But you can see how this really brings up the highlight up there, where me putting just clear red up there didn't work. Underpainting when you're dealing with red, orange, or yellow. Underpainting is your friend. It can give you those highlights that you really want, those really poppy highlights. And then we can go up from here with either pink or orange or yellow. Orange/yellow. So our red looks a lot more defined now. You can clearly see the shadows and highlights. All the folds are coming out. I probably would do just a little bit more up here. Are you eating things you oughtn't now, little dog? You've got 3 minutes.
She's like, I'm going to come back in 1 minute.
She's just a little beast today. I'm going to do a little bit more there at the top. Yes, always, Roger. Always. It looks pink because I'm putting it over the red, but it's a thinned white. Always, when you're using, if you're going to do underpainting, either you're using a lighter version of the color you're doing, like a pink, or you're using white. Because that's the reason you're getting those highlights to show up as well, is you've got to have that white. It's like having white paper as opposed to gray paper or black paper. Like, when you put something over white, it looks brighter. And that's the way white primer works, and it's the way white underpainting works, it's the way that Zenith works. But with Zenith, you tend to get a lot of gray midtones because you've got that white overlying the black, and it tends not to be pure white unless it's like right up here at the top. And even then, in the course of base coating, you might obscure some of that white, right? So then you can put it back on with the underpainting and push your red over the top. So that's looking much better than it was at the beginning of the stream. I'm much happier with it. Getting some of those darks in really helped with how punchy the red was. That was a little punchier than I really wanted it to be. I'm going to take some of my clear red and do the same little kind of little highlights. And because I'm putting the clear red over the dark over here, it will highlight it just a little, but just a little. So I won't have to worry about overdoing the highlight and losing my shadow. You should highlight in your shadows. It just shouldn't be as light as what you're doing out here. There we go. So I think Ed is looking pretty good here now for his red. Oh dear. Yeah, that's kind of silly. Kind of silly, Hyper Bunny. I guess. I mean, that's the way that thinking is nowadays, though. It's a shame. I mean, on the other hand, farmers probably aren't making very much at all. And so if you're not making very much money, and then you watch, like, corporations steal your thing and run with it and make a ton of money, then I guess I can understand that attitude. Yeah. All right. And we are at the end of stream. Hopefully this was educational for y'all and you're happy with how Ed is coming along. We'll probably do skin tones next. I'm thinking we're not done with everything, but... yeah. Yeah, agree, Agent Marvel. All right, so tomorrow for Thursday stream, we are back to Witchy, who we're almost done with. I think we need to do the pumpkin. We did Kitty Cat and Boots last time, and a little bit of the staff. Sorry, not the staff, the broom. We still need to do more leather highlighting, pumpkin. A little bit of highlighting on the cream cuffs on the shirt, which we haven't tackled at all. And we need to do the broom. So we can do the broom at the same time as we're doing those cuffs. So we'll work on all that, and we need to highlight the hair. So that is where we are at with our non-conventional colored witch. I hope you guys like it. And we will hopefully see you tomorrow online. The kitty is cute. Yeah, I like putting little white markings on dark kitties. Alrighty. Yeah, thanks everybody. And we will see you again. I'm going to go and try to get some Patreon stuff busted out today. And I hope to see you all tomorrow. Thanks much. And have a great day. My button did not function.